Hello and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we're taking a look at the new Foiled Sentiments Happy New Year, as well as the new Bokeh Circles hot foil plates. These Bokeh Circle hot foil plates also have a coordinating die that you can get to cut out the circles to make your own designs. So let's do some foiling. Our platform is ready and we're going to place our hot foil plate on there and press that timer button. That light's going to blink, and then once it stops blinking, we are ready to do some foiling. We're taking our foil and placing it with the pretty side down facing the plate. Then we can add our cardstock. Then we will add the two top plates that come with the glimmer foil system. And then we'll pull this off the platform and run this through our Platinum 6 die cut machine. And that's going to press that hot foil into the paper, and when you peel it away, you get this beautiful foiled sentiment. So we're going to do that same process with our Bokeh circles. There is a plate in the Bokeh circles that does a corner, and we're going to foil that one first. Again, putting the pretty side of the foil towards the plate, then our cardstock, and then our two top plates that go with the glimmer system. And once we run that through, we get that really fun bokeh corner. Now for the other bokeh circles, we have cut these apart using our wire snips and we've placed them onto the platform. The light has stopped blinking, so we're ready to foil. We've put our foil with the pretty side facing the plates, our cardstock, and then our top plates. And when we run this through our die cut machine and press that foil into those hot foil plates, we're going to get this fun bokeh design on our cardstock. Now, the really fun thing about these individual circles is you can continue to foil. So we have one little circle here that is ready to go. We're going to add a small piece of foil, and then we're going to place our cardstock so that this circle overlaps that large solid circle we just foiled. So when we run this through our machine and press that foil into that plate, we're going to get a really cool overlap with our foils. And you're going to see me do this later using two different colors of foil. Now we're repeating that same process once again. This is just a smaller circle, and we're going to place our cardstock so that it overlaps one of the circles we foiled earlier. And when we pull that away, we're going to have that fun overlap again, where that open circle overlaps a solid one. Now there are dies that coordinate with these circles, so if you don't want to worry about arranging your circles on the plate, you can always foil them and then die cut them and then adhere them to your background in the arrangement that you like. So that's what we're going to do next. So we've just foiled some of those circles. We'll just move our platform out of the way, and we already have trimmed apart the coordinating dies that go with all these fun Bokeh circle hot foil plates. And we can just line these up and hold them in place with a little bit of low tack tape. Be sure to put that tape on the outside of the circles so that it doesn't pull off your foil. And here we have a bunch of individual circles that we can just move around and place on our card however we like. It would be really fun to foil these on different colors as well, and you're going to get lots of choices for your bokeh backgrounds. So now let's make a card using these bokeh circles, and what I'm actually going to do is I've placed an A2 size card on here, and I'm putting some washi tape onto my glimmer hot foil base just as a guide to show me where the outline of my card base will be. This is going to allow me to kind of make a design with my circles ahead of time because I want these to sort of go off the side of my cardstock. So I'm just going to make a design and place these where I want them to be. So you can see I'm going off the edge of my tape a little bit, and I'm just randomly putting these circles and making a design. One thing to remember is it is opposite because we're going to be laying our paper face down. So that's why at the beginning I moved that big circle over to the right because on my card I want it to be on the left. So I've gone and put that onto the base so it can get heated up and ready. And while it's heating up, I am cutting a piece of Moonstone cardstock to an A2 size, so 4¼ by 5½. And this is what I am going to do my foiling on. And I'm going to foil in two different colors. So I have Moonstone and Prism. And again, while that platform is heating up, I'm just going to trim these foils down to cover my cardstock. So I have that pretty blue color, which is Moonstone, and then I have a pretty silver iridescent color, which is Prism. And now that my platform is ready, I'm going to bring it back to my desk so you can see what I'm doing. I am going to take that foil and place it with the pretty side facing down towards my plates. And then you can see that I'm kind of going to use that tape as a guide to make sure that my card base is in the right spot. Then I can add my plates on top, and I will run this through my die cut machine and press that foil into that cardstock. Now mine did a little overfoiling right there in the center, but that is not a problem. I can easily get rid of that with a sand eraser, which I will show you. But before I clean that up, I'm going to move my circles around. And I'm just rearranging these in a different spot so that when I foil this card base again, I will have a different design of bokeh circles in a different foil, and they will overlap what I've already done. So I've put that back on the base so it can heat up, and while that's doing that, I am going to clean up that overfoiling that I got in the center of my circle. I had a little bit on the edge there too that I cleaned up. And now my platform is heated up again and ready to go. And this time I'm using that Prismacolor foil. So I'm just going to place that with the pretty side facing down. Again, take my card base, make sure I have it turned the right direction, and then I'll add those two top plates and run that through my machine to press that foil into that cardstock. So now when I pull this away, we're going to get a different color of bokeh dots overlapping the dots we already did. And look how fun that is. Now I did have a little bit of overfoiling in that same circle. I think it has to do with the pressure of my machine, and I'm just cleaning that up. Now I also wanted to use the die cut bokeh circles, so I'm just arranging them on my platform just in the center, and I will foil these with some pink foil. This is like a peachy pinky color. I think it's called Aura. It's really pretty. I'm just going to foil this onto another piece of Moonstone cardstock so that the background matches my card base, but you could foil this on a contrasting color if that's the look you want. So now my hot foil base is ready to go, so I will add my foil, my cardstock, and my two plates and run that through my machine. And now I get these lovely foiled bokeh dots. And for these, I am going to use the coordinating dies to cut them out. So I will just line these up and again hold them in place with a little bit of low tack tape, but making sure that that tape is on the outside and not touching the foil. So now I have some individual circles that I can move around where I want them to be, or pop them up with some foam, which I think is a fun look, which you're going to see me do when I assemble my card. I can make them go off the side and just trim them off, and there's lots of options. Now before I start to assemble my card, I want to trim this panel down with the largest of the outside in stitch rectangles so I get that really nice stitching detail. Doing this after the foiling is great because that stitching detail goes through the foil very nicely. For my images, I use Frosty Family and Frosty Family Add-on and stamped all my images in River Rock ink, which is that gray Copic friendly ink. And then there is just a look at the colors that I used to color their scarves and their hats. Now I also have a white piece of cardstock that I will use for my ground, and I'm using the Winter Big Scripty Words hot foil for my sentiment. I already had one that I had in my stash, and that's perfect to pull out for this card. So I have the Let It Snow that I had foiled previously with some gold foil and used the coordinating dies to cut it out. And then I'm using a wavy border die to cut the top of my snow, and I'm just figuring out about how high I need to cut that so that I have room for my sentiment and my snow family. So for that snow along the bottom, I'm using some foam tape to pop that up off the background. And now I need to get my Frosty family dressed and ready to go on the card. I kept their scarves and their hats pretty simple, just picking one color for each snow person and coloring their scarf and their hat in that same color scheme. And I just used two different shades so I got a little bit of shading. So I have a pink one, a teal one, this little purple one here, and then a green one. And I just thought that this was a really nice way to add a pop of color to this card. So once they're all assembled, I'm actually going to go ahead and assemble them as one big piece, as one big family, and that will make them really simple to put onto my card. So I'll just add a little bit of liquid glue where they overlap, and now they're all one big image. And now I have all those extra bokeh circles that I foiled in my third foil color and cut them out with the coordinating die. And I'm just figuring out kind of where I want them to go to fill in around my frosty family. I'm going to have some that go off the sides and some that tuck behind the snow. And I'm actually going to take some thin foam squares and pop a couple of these smaller ones up so that they have some dimension off the background, which I think is a fun look as well. And then once I have them in place, I'll just trim off the extra of those couple that are sticking off the sides. I actually found one in the floor that I had dropped and I added it to the top of my card after I was done. Now I can add this whole panel to a card base, and since I used that stitch rectangle, I have that nice white border around my background. And then I've put some foam squares all over the back of my Frosty family, and I will just pop them right into the center of the card. I'm adding a little bit of glue along the bottom where they're going to touch the snow. And this makes it really easy to kind of line them up. Then I can add some liquid glue to the back of that foiled sentiment that says "Let It Snow." And I am going to layer this along the bottom. And I just think that this is a perfect sentiment to go with that foil background. And since it's on white, it kind of blends into the snow as well, which is fun. I also added a few little iridescent sequins just sprinkled around just for a little more touch of shine because you can't have too much. And then finally, I am going to add some Stickles glitter. I love adding the stickles especially to snowy scenes like this. So I added some to the top of the snow that's sticking out on each side of my little family. And then I'm also adding some to the base of the family, and I will add some accents to their hats. I just think some stickles like this on a snowy card adds some icy sparkle. And here is my finished card with that really cool bokeh background. I love the foiled sentiment that adds to it and that cute frosty family. Now let's make a New Year's card using the foiled sentiments Happy New Year sentiment. And I am going to foil this on black cardstock with this cool silver sparkle. And then I'm also going to use the hot foil fireworks with this rainbow foil on some vellum. It is a really fun look that I really enjoy doing. So my platform is all ready. I will put that foil with the pretty side down towards the plate and add my black cardstock and run this through my machine, and I'm going to get this really cool foiled sentiment. Now I did foil this onto a larger piece of cardstock, and that's because I'm going to use the 3-inch stitched circle to cut it out. These sentiments fit perfectly in that 3-inch circle, and we're going to have a perfectly centered sentiment with that fun stitching detail on the outside. Next, I need to hot foil my fireworks, so my platform is all heated up and ready to go. I'm going to take my rainbow foil, place it face down with the pretty side towards the plates, add my vellum, and then run this through my machine. And foiling on vellum is one of my favorite things to do. Look at those beautiful fireworks. And these have coordinating dies, so I can cut these out so that I can place them wherever I need to on my card. Just look at how pretty these are with all the different colors. I will be hot foiling some more fireworks, so I have a lot to work with on my card. Now for the background, I have a piece of black cardstock that's 4¼ by 5½, and I am adding some gold watercolor splatters to the back, which is a really cool look, especially on this black cardstock. So I have some larger splatters and I'm flicking it off of the block to get some finer splatters. And once that's nice and dry, I will just add this directly to a card base, and this will be my background for all of my foil to go on. And that metallic watercolor really goes great with all this foil. So here's all my fireworks. I added some foam squares to the back of the circle, but it's not stuck down yet. I'm just putting it there as kind of a placeholder so I can figure out where to put my fireworks. And I am trying to make sure that I don't put any that are the same colors right next to each other, but I want to fill in behind this sentiment circle. And for these, I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue right to the center. Because it is vellum, we are going to see that glue a little bit, but I will add a little gold glitter star to the center of these as well to kind of help hide that glue. So I started with those two larger fireworks in opposite corners. I did the same with the medium size, and then I kind of filled in with those little ones. And once I have some glue on all of these, I'm actually just going to lay an acrylic block on here and let that glue dry, and it will hold them in place. While that's drying, I'm going to pull out the stars from the Hearts and Stars skinny tag die and cut some stars from some gold sparkle cardstock. So I have some of each size. We have a large, a medium, and a small. And these are what I'm going to add to the center of my fireworks to kind of cover up my glue. So these are pretty dry. You can see there's still some white glue there, but that will dry clear eventually. And I've just put a dot in the center, and I really love adding these sparkly stars to the center of the fireworks. I think they're just really fun and a nice way to kind of finish them off. You could also have foiled these on some black cardstock and made them kind of disappear into the background too. I think that would have been also a really cool look. So now that I have all those stars on there, I will pull off the liner paper from my foam. I used black foam on the back of this since I had black cardstock. And I can just pop that right into the center. Once that's there, I have some extra stars, so I just decided I would kind of sprinkle those around outside the fireworks. And then here is that finished fun hot foil Happy New Year card. I love all the different foil and the sparkle and shine. It's just so much fun. Now let's take a look at some projects by the design team. I really love this cake topper that Yainea created with the year 2025. I think it is a really fun way to ring in the new year. I love how Audrey used the hot foil bokeh circles to create a fun everyday happy birthday card with all those bright colors. And then this card by Grace is so cute. I love her little peppy penguin who is ready to celebrate the new year in style. This card by Elena is so fun. She made a shaker card with that hot foil sentiment in the background and snowflakes inside. And then Maureen also made a fun shaker card by hot foiling on acetate, which is a really, really cool look. Mindy created two beautiful cards using some fun backdrops. This one features the bokeh circles in the background in different colors, and then this one features the Happy New Year sentiment on acetate to create a fun shaker card. And then finally, this simple card by Letitia is just perfect. I love her addition of sequins and that foiled paper in the background. And then here is another look at the two cards I created in today's video using the Bokeh Circles hot foil plates with the Frosty family and the new Foiled Sentiments Happy New Year with some fun hot foil fireworks. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.